Hello there, and welcome to my channel, MoPerspectiv. First, let me just say that this is not an advertisement for life insurance. I just get a little vexed when I see folks asking the masses for donations when there are alternative routes to ensure you are covered for these types of expenses. I was compelled to make this video, and if you continue listening, you will understand why I'm just so passionate. So today, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to discuss why some of us won't open a life insurance policy for our loved ones, but would rather start a Gofundme for funeral expenses. I realize that this topic may be triggering for some, and that's okay. I just need those of us who are willing to get an understanding to learn a different way of thinking. Unfortunately today, some of us would rather allocate our funds towards items that bring little or no value. Instead, we'd rather exploit our families by publicly asking for funeral costs. So I did a search online. I typed in funeral costs, GoFundMe, and how many people, and a link popped up titled, "How do I pay for funeral if I have no money?" There was also a link on GoFundMe breaking it down into 3 easy steps to start your campaign. They call it a funeral or a memorial campaign. And did you know that GoFundMe charges 2.9% of the total collected? Now that's not too bad, because say you raise $20,000, that's only $580 that they're going to charge. Sounds good, right? Well, guess what? They also charge 30% of each individual donation. So if someone wanted to donate $10,000, you're only going to see $7,000. Now, of course, they have to make their money as well. This is America, and I don't blame or knock their hustle. However, if you decide to utilize this method, you too are being hustled, and let me explain why. According to NerdWallet, an average of $3,000 is raised for funeral crowdfunding. Now, high-profile cases that reach the media tend to collect more due to exposure, but on average, $3,000 is what most folks are getting. Before you decide to take this route, think about the type of people that are in your family, your friends, and colleagues. Do these people have big money to donate? If so, then you may do okay rounding up enough to cover expenses and then some. But let's really think about it. The average American doesn't have the means to support such causes when they have their own immediate families and relatives to support, especially during these times of economic uncertainty. Still not convinced? Okay, let me put it to you this way. I've heard all the finance gurus spout that 7 out of 10 Americans do not have 6 to 9 months of living expenses, nor $1,000 in the bank for an emergency. If I am living check to check and my friend sends me a link to donate to their GoFundMe, I may just be a little uneasy about this. Now you're probably thinking something is better than nothing, and at least I didn't have to come out of the pocket for anything. That's cool and all. However, imagine if you just budgeted $50 to $100 a month on a policy that will pay out over $50,000 to $100,000. Who's the winner? So let's discuss life insurance policies real quick. A life insurance policy basically is money you pay every month to a reputable institution in hopes of cashing out once your loved one has passed. It's simple as that. The steps you need to take are just basically researching a good company with a good history of paying out full in a timely manner, deciding how much you can afford to pay every month, which determines the payout amount, and providing all of the information needed, a couple of signatures, and then you're done. Let me give you a little history as to why I'm passionate about this here. I had been begging my mother for years to get a life insurance policy because I was the one that was financially responsible for my grandmother's funeral, and I became a little resentful. Not at my granny, never, but honestly at the rest of my family, because it was tough on me and it took me over a year to pay that off. One day I pleaded with my mother to just let me start a policy on her, and she could name whomever she desired to be the beneficiary. I just didn't want to be burdened yet again, and I knew that life insurance typically takes care of the funeral costs and the rest is dispensed to the beneficiaries. So she reluctantly agreed, and I am so grateful for that. Unfortunately, less than 3 years later, my mom succumbed to her illness, and as usual, my siblings were looking at me to take care of everything. I am the eldest one and I am the most responsible one, so they looked at me to get shit done, and I did what I had to do. So I ended up paying $92 a month and settled on an amount of $25,000. It had been over 2 years that I even checked on the policy. I just knew it was coming out of my account automatically. So when I called to get the information, they told me that I had $25,000, and I was honestly elated because at that point, so far, my mom's cost had came up to less than $5,000. My mom wanted to be cremated and her ashes spread. So for my plane ticket, another family member's plane ticket, memorial costs, cremation, trinkets, hotel fees, repasts, and dinners, I had enough left to give both of my siblings $5,000 each and $500 to each of their children. And let me tell you something, it was amazing to be able to do that. Now, money is never a substitute for a loved one, but I will tell you it definitely makes life easier and frees up time for us to properly grieve because we aren't overwhelmed with these expenses. Did you know that right now life insurance rates are lower because of the current pandemic? So you should take advantage. Now, I wasn't going to speak on the morality of it all, but it is what it is. Is it morally inept to not have finances in order when a loved one is taken from us? Absolutely not. I'm not a monster. There are issues out there. All of us don't have the money to do these things, and people die suddenly, accidents, etc. So sometimes you just don't know. But if we have parents that have chronic illnesses, teenage and adult children that lead destructive lives, and they have children, should we be proactive rather than reactive? I believe so. We have a moral obligation first to ourselves and to those that will suffer financially due to the loss. Now, this last part may be triggering again for some, but I have to keep it real. Some people are a little tired of giving money away to those who refuse to plan. If we have money to club, buy expensive wardrobes, get Starbucks, eat out every day, we have $50 to $100 a month for life insurance. So folks, take advantage, do your research, do what's right for your family. You deserve it, and so do those that are left behind. I appreciate you all for listening. If you have anything to add to the comment section, please do tell me your stories. If any of you have used life insurance before and was grateful for that, or any of you have used Gofundme as a second alternative and how that turned out, I would like to know your stories, but please share. Take care and God bless. Also, don't forget to subscribe.